The Great Pyramid of Giza, the definitive account of the last wonder. Chapter 1. The Monolith of Time, an introduction to the Horizon of Khufu. Imagine standing at the edge of the Sahara Desert as the sun begins to crest over the horizon. The air is cool, the sand is a muted gold, and before you stands the impossible. It is a structure so vast that it consumes the sky, a geometric perfection that seems out of place in a world of shifting dunes. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza, known to the ancient Egyptians as Akhet Khufu, the Horizon of Khufu. For over 4,500 years, this monument has served as a silent witness to the rise and fall of empires, the birth of religions, and the evolution of human consciousness. It is the only member of the original 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing, and it does so with an air of defiance. While the Hanging Gardens of Babylon have vanished into myth, and the Colossus of Rhodes has crumbled into the sea, the Great Pyramid remains, as if it were a permanent feature of the Earth's crust rather than a creation of human hands. To understand the pyramid, we must first understand the world that birthed it. This script serves as a definitive audio guide, synthesizing centuries of archaeological research, architectural analysis, and historical records. We are traveling back to the Old Kingdom's 4th dynasty, roughly 2580 BCE. At this time, Egypt was the most advanced civilization on the planet, a unified powerhouse ruled by a pharaoh who was seen not just as a king, but as a living god. The pharaoh Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops, sought to build a monument that would transcend death itself. He didn't just want a tomb, he wanted a gateway to the stars. The Great Pyramid was the culmination of generations of trial and error. Before Giza, there were the failed experiments, the collapsed pyramid at Meidum, the bent pyramid with its awkward change in angle, and the red pyramid, which finally achieved the true pyramidal form. Khufu took these lessons and scaled them to the point of insanity. The scale is difficult for the modern mind to grasp. It consists of roughly 2.3 million stones. If you were to cut these stones into 1-foot cubes and line them up, they would circle the entire moon. The base covers 13 acres, and for nearly 4,000 years, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth, only surpassed by the Lincoln Cathedral in England in the 14th century. But it isn't just the size that hooks us, it is the precision. The 4 sides of the base are aligned to the cardinal points of the compass, north, south, east, and west, with an accuracy that rivals modern satellite-guided engineering. As we begin this journey, we must strip away the modern myths of aliens and lost civilizations for a moment and look at the sheer, gritty reality of the Bronze Age. How did a people without iron tools, without the wheel, and without the pulley manage to move 6 million tons of rock? This is the story of human ambition pushed to its absolute limit. Chapter 2. The Master Builders, Engineering, Logistics, and the Pulse of the Nile. The most common question asked by visitors to Giza is, how? How were these massive blocks moved? For centuries, the popular image was one of thousands of slaves being whipped by cruel taskmasters. However, modern archaeology has corrected this narrative. Excavations of the workers' village south of the plateau have revealed that the pyramid was built by a highly organized, well-fed, and respected workforce of roughly 20,000 to 30,000 Egyptians. These were not slaves. They were farmers and craftsmen who, during the annual flooding of the Nile, the Akhet, could not work their fields and were conscripted into service for the state. The logistics began at the quarries. The core of the pyramid is made of local yellow limestone from the Giza Plateau itself, but the casing, the outer layer that once made the pyramid shine like a beacon, was made of fine white limestone from Tora across the Nile. The heaviest stones, the massive granite slabs used in the King's Chamber, weighed up to 80 tons each and were transported from Aswan, over 500 miles to the south. To move an 80-ton block of granite across 500 miles without modern engines is a feat of fluid dynamics. The Egyptians utilized the Nile as a superhighway. During the flood season, the water reached the base of the plateau, allowing heavy barges to dock almost at the construction site. From there, the stones were moved on wooden sledges. You might wonder how a sledge carrying 80 tons doesn't simply sink into the sand. The answer is found in an ancient tomb painting showing a worker pouring water in front of a sledge. It was long thought to be a ritual, but physicists recently discovered that adding a specific amount of water to sand reduces friction by half. It creates a bridge of water between the grains, allowing the sledge to glide. Once at the site, the ramp theory comes into play. While scholars debate whether it was a single long ramp, a zigzagging ramp, or an internal spiral ramp, the principle remains the same: the use of inclined planes. The formula for the mechanical advantage of a ramp is ma equals L over h, where L is the length of the ramp and h is the height. By increasing the length, the Egyptians could reduce the force required to pull the stones, allowing gangs of men to move weights that would otherwise be impossible. The craftsmanship was so precise that in the casing stones, the joints were often less than 1/50th of an inch wide, so tight that you couldn't fit a credit card between them. They used copper chisels, Dullarite hammerstones, and sawing techniques involving sand as an abrasive. It was a slow, methodical process that required a level of patience that is almost extinct in our modern fast-paced world. Every block was a testament to the idea that good enough was never an option for the house of a god. Chapter 3. The Celestial Compass, Mathematics, Astronomy, and the Golden Ratio. If Chapter 2 was about the brawn of the pyramid, Chapter 3 is about the brain. The Great Pyramid is a mathematical encyclopedia written in stone. It is here that we find the intersection of the earth and the heavens. First, let us look at the orientation. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north within 3/60ths of a degree. For context, the Meridian building at the Greenwich Observatory in London is aligned to within 9/60ths of a degree. The ancient Egyptians achieved this without a North Star, as the star Polaris was not in that position 4,500 years ago due to the precession of the equinoxes. Instead, they likely used the movement of the stars and a tool called a Merkhet to find a perfect meridian line. Then there are the mathematical constants. Many researchers have pointed out that the dimensions of the Great Pyramid seem to incorporate the values of pi and phi, the golden ratio. If you take the perimeter of the base and divide it by twice the height, the result is approximately 3.1415, or pi. Similarly, the relationship between the slant height of the pyramid and half the base width approaches the golden ratio, phi, approximately 1.618. Critics argue that these might be accidental byproducts of using a specific measurement tool, like a rolling drum, but the consistency across the structure suggests a deep, perhaps intuitive understanding of the geometric laws that govern the universe. The slope of the pyramid is roughly 51.8 degrees. This angle was not chosen at random. In Egyptian mathematics, this is known as a sekhet. A sekhet is the measure of the run for a rise of 1 cubit. For the Great Pyramid, the sekhet is 5 palms and 2 fingers. This specific ratio creates the iconic silhouette that has become the universal symbol for pyramid. The astronomy of Giza goes even deeper. The air shafts extending from the king and queen's chambers were long thought to be for ventilation, but they are blocked at certain ends or directed through massive amounts of stone. In the 1960s, astronomers realized these shafts were pointed towards specific stars as they appeared in the sky circa 2500 BCE. The northern shafts pointed towards the imperishable stars, the circumpolar stars like Thuban and Draco, while the southern shafts pointed towards Orion, associated with the god Osiris, and Sirius, associated with the goddess Isis. This suggests the pyramid was a resurrection machine. The pharaoh's soul, or Ka, would travel up these shafts to join the stars, ensuring the eternal order of Egypt. The alignment of the 3 Giza pyramids also famously mirrors the 3 stars of Orion's belt, a theory known as the Orion correlation theory. While controversial among some archaeologists, the symbolic link between the as above, so below philosophy is undeniable in Egyptian theology.
Chapter 4. The Inner Sanctum, Exploring the Voids and the King's Chamber. Entering the Great Pyramid is an experience of profound sensory deprivation and claustrophobia. The original entrance is hidden, so today visitors enter through the Robber's Tunnel, carved by Caliph al-Mamun in the 9th century. As you move deeper, the local limestone gives way to the polished, dark granite of the interior. The first major feature is the ascending passage leading to the Grand Gallery. The Grand Gallery is an architectural marvel, a soaring, corbelled hall nearly 28 feet high and 150 feet long. The stones are layered so that each one steps inward slightly, creating a vaulted ceiling that supports the incredible weight of the pyramid above it. At the top of the Grand Gallery lies the King's Chamber. This room is entirely made of red Aswan granite. It is austere, containing no inscriptions or decorations, only a single lidless granite sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is slightly too wide to have been brought through the passages, meaning it was placed there during construction. It was carved from a single block of granite using tubular drills with a feed rate that modern engineers still find impressive. Above the King's Chamber are 5 relieving chambers. These are rough-hewn spaces designed to divert the immense pressure of the millions of tons of stone above, preventing the ceiling of the King's Chamber from collapsing. It is in these hidden gaps that the only original inscriptions in the pyramid were found, graffiti left by the work gangs, such as the Friends of Khufu gang and the Drunkards of Menkaure. This is the smoking gun that proves the pyramid was built by Egyptians for Khufu. In 2017, the Scan Pyramids project, using cosmic ray muon radiography, discovered a big void above the Grand Gallery, a space at least 100 feet long. We still don't know what is inside. Is it another chamber? Or is it simply a structural feature to reduce weight? The mystery of the pyramid continues to grow even as our technology advances. The Queen's Chamber, located lower in the structure, is equally mysterious. It contains a niche that may have once held a statue of the pharaoh's Ka. In the 1990s and early 2000s, robotic rovers were sent up the narrow shafts of this chamber, only to find small doors with copper handles, and behind them, more empty spaces. The pyramid is like a giant stone puzzle box, and we have only just begun to peek through the keyholes. Chapter 5. The Eternal Legacy: Theories, Myths, and the Power of the Past. As we conclude our journey, we must address the elephant on the plateau, the various theories about the pyramid's purpose. While mainstream Egyptology is firm that the pyramid was a tomb, others look at the lack of a mummy and the strange acoustic properties and see something else. Some theorists, like Christopher Dunn, suggest the pyramid was a power plant, utilizing the Earth's vibrations and the chemicals in the shafts to create energy. Others see it as a water pump or a global map. While these theories often lack archaeological evidence, they exist because the Great Pyramid is too good for what we think of as Bronze Age technology. It challenges our chronological snobbery, the idea that people in the past were somehow less intelligent than we are today. The truth is likely more poetic. The Great Pyramid was a synthesis of everything the Egyptians knew: their religion, their science, their social organization, and their art. It was a statement of, "We are here." It was a hedge against the total erasure of time. When you look at the pyramid today, it is missing its smooth limestone casing and its golden capstone, or pyramidion. It looks like a rugged mountain, but for the ancient Egyptian, it would have been a brilliant, shimmering white diamond in the desert, topped with gold that caught the first rays of the sun. It was the physical manifestation of the Benben, the primeval mound from which all life emerged in their creation myths. The Great Pyramid of Giza reminds us of what humanity can achieve when it is united by a single vision. It required a level of social cohesion and long-term planning that is almost inconceivable in our current era of short-term cycles. It took 20 years to build, 20 years of single focus. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of the Giza Plateau. If you found this journey through the limestone and the stars fascinating, if it made you see the ancient world in a new light, then please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue to bring the wonders of history and science to life. What do you believe is the greatest mystery still hidden within the stones? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep looking toward the horizon. Thank you.